Anticipation.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I think it's 2 o'clock, at least somewhere. So this is September 14, 2017. It's 2 o'clock p.m. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees of Weatherford College. And this is being held today in the Strain Community Room of the Doss Student Center, located at 225 College Park Drive, Weatherford, Texas. First item on the agenda is call to order and invocation, Pledge of Allegiance. Brent, will you lead us in those?
You bet. Would you mind standing, please? I'm going to say the invocation first.
Yes.
Lord, we're very grateful for what you've given this college. We thank you for all the students you're bringing to us. We thank you for our excellent faculty and staff, and of course our board members and their willingness to serve. Please be with them today as they deliberate. Thank you for what you've done for our college, and we thank you for the future of our college. So in your name we pray. Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Second item on the agenda is open forum for individuals not on the agenda. Crystal, do we have anyone signed up?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to number 3. This is the President's report. Brent, would you
Yes,
please?
sir. We get to start with some really good news with an enrollment report. And I think most of you saw the media release that Crystal sent out yesterday, which is just after our count day, but I'm going to go back through it with you. As of count day, Weatherford College reached a record enrollment, 6,357 students. It is the first time in our history we've been over 6,000 students. It's also obviously a record and a 12.9% increase year to year. The largest year-to-year enrollment increase since 2009. Also good news, Andrew's going to like this, contact hours, which were funded upon, increased by 11.4% compared with last year. It's not a count year, is it? So we have to we'll wait till the spring to get those numbers up for it to be a count year. Now the enrollment increase was really felt across the college. Of course, the largest jump is dual credit, which has exploded, an increase of 46% in dual credit courses. That's a total of 1,850 students, an increase of 580 students over last fall, and it really underlines the relationship with our ISDs and the tremendous job they're doing as well. So we appreciate them. The second largest increase came from online classes, up about 13%, just over 2,000 students taking online classes. But you know, almost every brick and mortar campus we have as well has also gone up. This campus, 2,991 students. That's up just a hair under 2%. Our Wise County campus is up about 5%, 576 students. The Education Center at Granbury is up 8.7% year to year, 323 students. The Education Center at Mineral Wells has the identical number of students as this time last year, 102 students. Our average age is 22.2 years old, and you might be interested to know that 45% of our students reside in Parker County. You have any questions about enrollment? Okay. If I can move on here in my report. First, I want to thank everyone throughout our college family that has stepped up to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey. The list is really too long to mention everyone, but so many people lended a hand, from the Truck Driving Academy loaning their truck to go to the Houston area and back, to the Ag Department collecting donated hay, to working with TACC and our sister colleges in South Texas. People throughout this college chipped in and are still chipping in because, as you know, the need is not over in South Texas. Some recognitions, congratulations. I want to say congratulations to Tanya Edwards and our respiratory care program. Every 10 years, the program goes through an extensive review from the Commission on Accreditation for Respiratory Care. That process was wrapped up with a site visit this week, no citations, 2 recommendations, and we sat in the room when they said that this is an excellent respiratory program. We're very proud of what they've done. I'd like to recognize Adam Finley, John Turntine, and their staff for organizing Welcome Week activities for our students during the first week of classes. The team put together a great Welcome Week, activities every day, culminating in a successful student night at Splash Kingdom Water Park on Thursday night. My favorite part is when they sat in the wave pool and watched the movie Jaws, which I thought was pretty cool. I want to thank Daryl Castillo and his team for organizing yesterday's Constitution Day activities. Excellent panel discussion for our students, promoting open dialogue and a diversity of opinions and viewpoints. And I do have one employee notification for you today. Cosmetology instructor Colleen Walker has announced her retirement from WC. She has worked with us for 10 years, and we wish her the best.
That it, Brent?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Number 4 on the agenda, consent agenda and financial reports. A, approval of minutes from August 3, August 15, August 21, and August 25. Financial reports ending July 31 and August 31, 2017, and the quarterly investment report. Are there any questions or comments concerning that? Those items? Is there a motion that be approved?
I so move.
We approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move to agenda item number 5, which is consideration and possible action statements from potential board appointees. We have 2 board members that couldn't be here today, so what this is going to involve today will just be asking those that are here that want to make a statement to do that. And what I think would be, unless someone wants to have a different time, I was thinking 5 minutes or less. Does that sound okay to everybody? Okay. And as far as who goes first, why don't we do it this way? Who was here first? Was that you, Scott? I thought I saw you when I got here. Scott, you have the floor.
Thank you. Scott Butler. I've met all of y'all.
I apologize for not calling your name. This is Mr. Scott Butler. And
Obviously, I seek appointment to the board after the election in May, which me and Judy ran against each other. I've been here at most board meetings ever since. I'm dedicated to the college. I think I'm the closest removed from, I just graduated from here in December. So I think I have a fresh perspective of what the students, which is basically our customers, want and need to grow currently and in the future. So I believe I can be a great asset with your experience and expertise. So thank you.
thank you, Scott. I'm not sure who was here second. Was it Martin? Was Martin?
I don't think it matters what it was. How about ladies first?
Ladies first?
Yeah,
That'll be
Priscilla.
great. Okay. So Priscilla Hall?
No, please. I'm okay waiting till the last.
Good afternoon. I'm Priscilla Hall. I know that the board has seen my resume, which is, if I had given you the full resume, you would be still here reading it for a week. 35 years in as a professional training and development person, adult learning at large pharmaceuticals and medical device companies primarily was what my activities were. But in order to get to that point, I had to get a degree. And I didn't have one when I first started. I left Weatherford High School. I grew up here. I graduated from Weatherford High School and went to Weatherford College. That's what you did. Leela and I both have talked about this. You went to Weatherford College and you tried to figure out what you wanted to be when you grew up, and you didn't have a clue. In fact, most of us ended up playing bridge in the student building or in the cafeteria, and that was where I honed my bridge game, was at Weatherford College. Anyway, so I ran out of money, life changed. I ended up moving to Fort Worth. I had taken a number of hours though, and I thought I wanted to be a pharmacy student. I had worked for Gerald Davis right out of high school and at City Pharmacy, so I wanted to be a pharmacist. I wanted to be like him. Well, it was hard. Chemistry, physics, all the maths, it was hard, very hard. So I thought, I kind of ran out of steam and I ran out of money and moved to Fort Worth, married, had a beautiful daughter, and then went to work for a large pharmaceutical company, Alcon Laboratories, in Fort Worth, Texas. I still didn't have that degree. And every pharmaceutical company, every medical device, they are all heavily regulated, and they are required by law to have or to demonstrate that their employees are educated, have the education or experience in order to work there, and to work specifically around products, development of or manufacturing of products. So there's very specific requirements around education. Naturally, that's where I wanted to be, and I wanted to prove that I could do this without a degree. I worked as a technician, and the reason they hired me was because of my transcript from Weatherford College. I whipped that out during the interview. They weren't hiring anybody. I mean, they were only looking for technical people. It was an hourly job, but it was one that I really wanted. This company is just fabulous. So I probably called Leela and said, would you print off my transcript for me? And I came over and grabbed it and brought it to them and showed them all of the blood, sweat, and tears all over my transcript in chemistry and physics and biology and all of the maths. And I will say that the supervisor, he interviewed something like 10 people. Later he hired me, and he told me the reason was because of that transcript. So I had a really good reason to be grateful to my experience at Weatherford College at that point. But that's not all. I kept working at Alcon Laboratories, and they decided it was time for me to be a trainer. They needed somebody to train people on how to do their job. So they came to me and said, would you like to be a trainer? And I said, I thought you trained dogs. I didn't know you trained people. And they said, no, we train people. You have to train people, and we have to demonstrate that. Do you want to do that? And I said, sure, I'll do that. I'll do anything. I could talk to a wall. So that's what the idea was. I became a trainer. I got all kinds of certifications in curriculum design and course design, course development, all of the educational opportunities, no degree. Still did not go back to school and get my degree. I was just sure that I could get promoted. Well, they passed over me so many times it was ridiculous. I left in a huff, went to Neiman Marcus and was in a training department with them for a while, not where I wanted to be. Went to a manufacturing company, was personnel manager in training, enjoyed it, but still not where I wanted to be, but was laid off. And this was in a period where General Dynamics was totally downsized. Fort Worth looked like a ghost town on the west side. People just couldn't get a job. I went everywhere I went. I would go talk to somebody. If I went for a manager position, oh, you don't have a degree. If I wanted a secretarial position, I just wanted to work. I needed to eat. I would go for a secretarial position. They would say, you've got too much experience. You've been a manager before. You've done this, you've done that. You wouldn't be happy being a secretary. And I kept saying, well, try me. I can promise you, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. No. So I went through this for a while until I got a temporary job at Alcon Laboratories again and ran into a former colleague who was a PhD in chemistry, was one of the directors in quality assurance. He thought that I was worth saving, and so he gave me a contract job as a training and designing systems. They were implementing a computer system, and he wanted me involved in that. When I did that, I thought, okay, this is it. This is wonderful, but I felt like Scarlett O'Hara. I'm not going to ever let this happen to me again. One of those. So I decided to go back to school. Not TCJC, I came back to Weatherford College. That's where I got my associate's degree. And I did that in, I think it was 95. I was in my 40s by this time, and had really struggled through all of this, trying to make a decent living. So I wanted that piece of paper because it had, I've heard about the piece of paper from so many different people. I thought, I got to have the paper in my hand, not just tell somebody I did this. So I did that, and then immediately went to UTA afterwards. The wonderful thing about Weatherford College was everything that I took was accepted in transfer. I didn't have to fight for a single course. and that's very unusual. Normally, at four-year schools, TCJC had a horrible reputation at that time, not so much anymore, but at that time of not giving the kind of education that was transferable to a four-year school. And that's one of the reasons I came back to Weatherford. Plus, this was home. So I drove back and forth to Weatherford from Fort Worth 3 nights a week, night classes until I got my associate's degree, and then went to UTA. They took all of my hours from me. They loved it. It was great, and I turned it into a business degree. All that chemistry and physics and math turned into electives. That was the way I was able to get it to stay on my transcript. But it still was hours, and it transferred. Once I got that degree, the whole thing changed. Everything in my life changed. I received my bachelor's in 1998 from UTA, and within 6 months was offered a director's position in training, which I've been trying to do for years, at a company called Zimmer in Warsaw, Indiana. With that, and over the next few years, then I went to Johnson & Johnson, always at a senior level because of my degree and because of the experience. So the combination of experience and degree. The main reason I'm here is because I want to give back to Weatherford College what it gave to me. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Martin Knox.
Martin Knox. I'm the pastor of Lakeshore Drive Baptist Church. I've been there 2.5 years and was invited to come to town. And my family and I were glad to do so, to move to Weatherford. My wife is Valerie, and we have 4 kids, one of whom is married. One is a senior in college, and a set of boy-girl twins that are juniors at Weatherford High School. As a pastor, nearly all of my adult life, when I've moved to towns to pastor a church, I've always tried to find ways to get involved in the community life. I felt like that was a part of my calling there, was not just to be with those people at that church, but to be involved in the community as well. And so I've tried to find ways to do that here. I'm a member of the Weatherford Rotary Club, and have gotten to be involved, gotten to know a lot of people through that. I'm fairly active in the East Parker Chamber of Commerce as well, and get to do a number of things. I've served them as well and done some things they've asked me to do, just trying to find ways to serve the community in which I live. Through all of that, I've gotten to know Judy McAnally, and one day Judy asked me, she said, would you have any interest in doing this? And that really kind of came as I was doing some thinking about what are ways that I can be involved in the community and contribute to the community. I felt like maybe I could do that in this regard, in helping that. It was very obvious to me, even before I arrived to town, the impact of Weatherford College on Weatherford. Learned some about its history early on, and its longevity, which is pretty amazing. I didn't realize it was a Methodist school until recently at one time, and that was kind of interesting as well. I also have college board experience. I've served for 11 years on the board at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor in Belton, Texas. So it's a private Baptist school. The setting's a little different, but yet a lot of things I've learned through that experience about how boards function, things that need to be done, lots of matters both on operational side and academic side. I've been on the Academic Affairs Committee there. Much of the time that I've been there, I've chaired that committee. And I remind the entire board every now and then, after all, this is why we're here, to have academics for the university. So I have had that involvement. Another element, I think, as well, has been my observation over the years as a pastor. Pastored in Temple for 8 years. Temple has a very strong Temple College. A lot of young people through the high school there, and even through our church who attended Temple College, as well as others who would go back and get those degrees later. Temple College has a number of health-related fields, in part because of Scott and White Hospital. But to watch people find an opportunity to receive an education and the opportunity then to have a career that would allow them to provide for their families, to care for their children, and better their level and quality of life. And so I've seen those as very important. I see that Weatherford College does that, and watching people do that. Some of those lessons have been fun to learn and see the impact of that through the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club offers scholarships, and a number of those are to Weatherford College students. And to hear their stories and realize that some people are achieving a better quality of life because they have a chance to go back to school in a setting that's close and nearby. We realize college is hard at any level, and it's expensive. Anywhere you go with it, it's expensive. And how do you accomplish that? I think places like Weatherford College do a wonderful job of helping many people accomplish an education that otherwise they might not be able to have. And I'm really thankful for that, to see students take that first step to go to the local school and get that and gain confidence, and then move off to other schools where they can finish their bachelor's degrees, and then many of them move on from there. So I'm always glad to see that. And as Judy asked me about doing this, my thought was if I can help contribute to that and what Weatherford College is doing in our community, and as that community branches out into all of the counties for which Weatherford College is responsible, I love the opportunity to be able to do that. I think I have some things that I can bring to that table to help with and assist with if that opportunity presents itself. But thanks for your invitation to be here today.
Thank you, sir,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Rodgers Bazaar. Thank you.
It's a little different being on this side of the table. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity. Board members, thank you for the opportunity to present myself as a possible candidate for a member of the Weatherford College Board of Trustees. I believe very strongly in the responsibility that Weatherford College has to the students. I also believe very strongly in the responsibility that Weatherford College has to the people that pay the taxes, and as well as the students that pay the tuition. It has to be a shared responsibility, and over the years that has been a goal that has been attained. I think the board has always looked at tuition. The board has always looked at state funding, which unfortunately decreased and decreased and decreased. But we have always, I think, been good stewards of the taxpayers' money, and I think we have to keep doing that. I like to think that I am a consensus builder. I have no agenda, no set goals, other than to, as he said, be a contributing one of 7 people on this board that can hopefully bring something to the board during the board meetings. I think discussion on the issues is good. I think dissension is not good. Jim Wright always said it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to be disagreeable. And that's what I've always tried to do in the different areas that I have worked. I would like to see us improve our relationship with the Wise County campus, and I would also like to see us make whatever improvements we can to the Mineral Wells campus and raise that level, as well as the Granbury campus, which I know is just getting off the ground. All of those things are extensions of the opportunities that we as a board can make. I have said time and time again that Weatherford College, there is no figure that you can put in terms of economics and how much difference Weatherford College has made in the lives of so many young people, and so many veterans, and so many older students who realize I need to be retrained. I never forget that we're an academic institution, but we're also a vocational institution. And while we must be the best college we can be, we must be the best college that we can afford to be. If chosen, I would consider it an honor and a privilege. I have always supported Weatherford College, just like I have supported everything that in Weatherford, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Mr. Bowers, Richard Bowers.
I'd like to make a comment relative to what Brett said a little bit earlier, that we have now exceeded 6,000 students this year at Weatherford College. I can remember back the second year that I came here, we were busting our buttons that we finally surpassed 1,000 students. So I think we've made a tremendous change over those many years. The primary function of the board is to establish policy. The policy would either be the mandated policy as dictated by a state legislature, or it may be the local policy that is established by the board itself. I believe it is the charge of every new board member to always keep the mission statement of the college in mind when making those policy decisions. That is, that we are to ensure that the college is providing effective learning opportunities. Those three words in itself encompasses everything that we are here to do. That means to me that we must maintain quality education as quality educational programs, and to also do so at an affordable cost. I've been a taxpayer in Parker County for the last 48 years. I have two sons that went to Weatherford Independent School District, and they also began their academic career here at Weatherford College. Both went on to get their bachelor's degrees at senior institutions, and one even advanced his degree to a master's degree. As a side note, all three of us graduated from college the same year. As a board member, it's important to know as much as possible about the operations of the college. I have served 47 years as a Weatherford College faculty member, department chair, dean, and vice president. Each position that I attained provided new perspective on college operations and procedures. I had supervision over academic and workforce departments, the library, and student services here at Weatherford College. This included 122 separate budget accounts over all four of our campuses. I've worked with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. I have submitted and received approval for new programs as well as revisions of existing programs. Over the years, I have participated in 5 SACS reaffirmations, and as you know, those are held every 10 years. So if selected, I will endeavor to be a trusted member of the board of Weatherford College.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Dr. Glynn just walked in. Dr. Kent Glynn just walked in. Dr. Kent Glynn.
Okay. Dr. Kent Glynn.
Hello.
Good to see you, sir.
Delighted to be here, and I
Well, thank
appreciate you inviting me for this opportunity. I have participated for several years with some of the programs here at Weatherford College on advisory boards and so forth, and my wife actually got an associate's degree here about 45 years ago, and her brother as well a few years later. We have a long background of being sort of involved with Weatherford College, and I've worked with mostly the agriculture and the veterinary assistant program out here. I have a pretty long list of service on different boards and working with boards. Certainly I'm a big supporter of the Weatherford College and extremely proud of the academics that you folks have fostered here. I'm certainly very pleased with the way that you've kept the cost of tuition where that the kids locally have an opportunity to get on through and not have a huge burden of debt, which is one of the problems in veterinary medicine that we're facing. with graduates all over the nation is what they owe when they get out of school. And I think community colleges like Weatherford College are certainly one of the places that can be done. I like the way that you're in the high schools, getting some college credit in these kids before they ever graduate from high school. And I think that's an outstanding program. Your outreach to other communities like Mineral Wells and Bridgeport, Decatur, and to Granbury that's now starting, those are excellent, excellent programs. I kind of picture myself as I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm kind of a John Kennedy social rights for everybody. And so I like the opportunity that Weatherford College offers our local students. I actually lived in Graham until about 3 years ago. I now live out here at Aledo, practiced as a member of the staff at Aledo Vet Clinic for 11 years, and did relief veterinary services in Parker County for like 27 years. So I'm familiar with the area. I've worked with a couple of the people here. I've recently, in fact, I'm still on the Texas Veterinary Medical Association Board of Directors. I'm also under consideration for the Texas Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners right at this time as the end of the legislative session. I've spent many, many hours the last 2 legislative sessions helping to formulate things that affect the veterinary field of veterinary medicine in Austin, and that's a whole experience in and of itself. And that's how I found out I was old. That's why y'all know where the curvy stairway is by the Capitol Grill. So I'm going down it. I didn't know I was old. On the last step, I tripped and fell, and one of the interns says, "That elderly man fell," and that's when I found out I was old. But anyway, I love the opportunity to help Weatherford College any way I can. I'm involved with Dr. Garofalo now a lot, teaching and mentoring the students through the veterinary assistant program, and love working with the ag kids. I was an FFA student and actually a New Mexico State FFA president years and years and years ago, and so I've got a heart for the agriculture program that you have here and a whole bunch of that type of thing too, and would appreciate an opportunity to help you in any way that I can. And I really more anticipated a question style interview, but do any of you have any questions? Or?
No, sir. I appreciate your comments today. Thank you, Dr. Glynn.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you for that. As I said, this particular item on the agenda, we'll put this on another agenda, and there will be a selection made at that time. So now we'll move to agenda item number 6, consideration possible action, determination of method that provides the best value for procurement of emergency replacement on damaged roof for the Doss Student Center.
Okay.
Andrew.
I had mentioned to you all that we did have a flood back on, I believe it was September the 5th, 6th, in that time, and at that time, August, I'm sorry. Time passed pretty fast and we were getting the student center ready to open. But anyway, the third of the roof was peeled back from this roof of this building right here, and at that time we were moving fast. We called Blackman Mooring in, and we were doing just what we had to do to remediate and get the water out of here 3 inches everywhere except for this room. But in that, much of that, a lot of our contractors that we had for Blackman Mooring came in and did a lot of it, and they're on a contract that we're able to use to go ahead and purchase. But this roof, we have stepped back. We're going to have drawings done to the vendor that put on the roof is no longer in business. So we're going to have drawings done, and so the way to purchase this is going to have to be through an interlocal contract. And normally we would go to bid on a roof like this, but because of the time, I think Rhonda can tell you every day she cringes when she gets a phone call at night or the rain start because she's very concerned that it might rain again or the wind might get up. And we think we've got it where it's okay right now, but we need to move fast on this. So we're wanting you all to use this, that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal contract through the Cooperative Purchasing Network as the method of construction that meets the best value and basically replacement as an emergency purchase this time. And we just need permission from you all to move forward on that.
Okay. Are there any questions about that?
I understand that from everything.
At this point in time, I think the damage to the building, we've gotten quotes already on this roof. It looks like it will be anywhere from $299,000 to $377,000 for the roof. But we're nearing $600,000 on all the damage on the building right now. That's what we think it's going to be.
Just I know you got the insurance covered most of
Yes,
the repairs.
yes.
Does that cover any
I
of
think
the roof expense?
for the roof itself, because of depreciation and all that, they've told us they will pay $300,000. It's been very well. We had a $50,000 deductible, but we had gone in and purchased a buy down on that. So only $25,000 will be out of the building.
Too. Yeah.
So we feel very fortunate on that. And we got it back in. We were 3 weeks within school opening on the 25th, and we opened that day.
And so you have a company you're ready to go with?
Well, we've got quotes that are ready. We're about to move just as soon as we get permission. And we'll have to have some drawings done up that our architects are
And it's
aware
the
of.
whole building or just one?
Well, just this, not the bookstore. The bookstore was an add-on, but the rest of the building will have to be replaced. Rhonda, you can correct me if I'm wrong on anything. Rhonda's my director of facilities, for y'all that don't know.
We have so many leaks right here.
We've replaced all of the flooring out in the outer area, some of the walls, and we took the opportunity at this time, we went ahead and put some of our dollars, we will be out a little bit that I used out of major repair, rehabilitation, to go ahead and remodel the restrooms out here in front. They had needed it for a long, long time. The insurance company was going to pay for half where the walls went up and different things, and we just made the decision with the major repair and rehabilitation budget to go ahead and update the whole restroom where it had needed for quite a while. So that should be completed in a couple of weeks. That was the only area that was not ready on the August 25th.
So the recommendation would be that the board approve interlocal contract through the Cooperative Purchasing Network, TCPN, Purchasing Cooperative Job Order Contract as the method of construction that provides the best value for the DOS building roof replacement as an emergency purchase. Is there a motion to that effect from anyone?
I so move.
So is there a second?
I second.
There's a second. Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's approved unanimously. Thank you, Andrew.
And I want to compliment Rhonda and her team. They
I'm telling
did
you.
monumental work.
They
And
know.
also the gentleman, the security aide, Murphy, that came in here and found that we were flooding on a Sunday afternoon late.
Yeah.
Or we would have been in worse problems.
Much worse.
Yes.
Yeah, that was neat.
Okay, we'll move to number 7 on the agenda, consideration possible action, appointment of Weatherford College Foundation Liaison. Brent.
Yes, sir.
That would be yours.
So you all know what the foundation is, a 501c3 connected with the college to raise funds. And according to both the college policy and the foundation policy, the Board of Trustees names a board member to act as a liaison between the board and the foundation. It's a non-voting member and is invited to the board's quarterly meetings. Frank Martin served in this capacity for several years previously. Any member of the board is eligible. I'd like to ask that the board name a liaison to the foundation board.
Okay. Does anyone want to serve?
I do.
Okay.
I very much would like to serve on this board.
All right. Anybody else have any comments? Okay.
Glad to have you.
Do we need a motion to
Please
that?
do.
Okay. Is there a motion to that effect?
I move we nominate Judy McAnally as our liaison.
Is there a
I
second? All in favor say aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you, Judy, for
Thanks, Judy.
wanting to do that and to serve. All right. Agenda item number 8 is future agenda items or meetings. Brent?
We do have one that we know we'll have next time. We'll take a look at our policy on access and affordability, and we'll also actually make a report that's required once a year for access and affordability. That's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you. Item number 9 is announcements. We're back to you, Brent.
Yes, sir. Several events there in your packet. One that's not in your packet that we just finalized this past week. As you know, Nancy McVeigh retired this past academic year. She was our theater director for nearly 40 years. Mike, 38, 37, something like that.
From 1979 through 2017.
There you go. And we'd like to invite you to her retirement reception, September the 21st, from 2 to 4 o'clock in Texas Hall in the Alkek Fine Arts Center. Celebrate her career. She's been a big part of Weatherford College, and she needs a party.
It'll be fun if she's there.
It'll be fun, you bet. September 22nd, Baseball All-Star Weekend. This is a pretty neat deal. Every Division I JUCO team in the state of Texas sends their best players to an All-Star Weekend. This used to be at Baylor, but now it rotates between Blinn College and Weatherford College. And so we'll have this here at Williams Ballpark, September 22nd and the 23rd as well. And they play multiple games between each other. It's a wonderful place for scouts, and it's an honor to have them here on our campus. So we start getting into our fine arts events now. The children's drama show that Joe Nichikowski and his folks put together called Heads and Tails, September 29th through October the 1st. They do a tremendous job. The Walk to End Alzheimer's will be here on campus September the 30th in the morning. Then our fall drama show called The Actor's Nightmare, October 5th through the 8th. We have our foundation golf tournament coming up October the 19th. And by the way, Bob Glynn and his executive committee on the foundation board have taken that and run with it, and I really appreciate that. And then a fall jazz concert, October the 20th. And Safe Halloween, we'll talk about that in our next board meeting as well, but just to get that on your calendar, of course, that's October 31st.
Okay. Anything else, Brent?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, number 10 on the agenda is closed session, so at this time we'll officially close the open session and in about 2-3 minutes go back into our closed
Can I
session.
take just a moment, real quick? I just wanted to thank everybody that came to speak for opening of the College Board. Thank y'all very much for coming. We really appreciate it. It shows a true level of dedication. I know how busy each and every one of you are, and we really do appreciate the high level of interest, and the talent out there is phenomenal. So thank y'all very much for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're great.
Is that everybody that's coming in? All right. It's approximately 3:35, and we assembled back in the room, and we're going to now reconvene and go into an open session. We've been talking about our relationship with Granbury ISD and Good County, and the things that have been undertaken to talk about the facilities down there, and actually we've looked at some information about the population, jobs. We're very excited about Hood County. We think it's a wonderful place. We're lucky to be that close to those people and have all of the many good things that are happening down there. We're glad that Weatherford College has a facility there, and it's our intent to try to improve on that facility down there, to make it more functional, to work hand in hand with those people and provide them the best level of service that we can down in Hood County. And so with that in mind, we've been talking about the real estate down there, the facilities that we've been using over the years, and the discussions that we've had about acquiring that property, how we might do it, the things we might do with the property once we get it, if we get it, and all of the fiscal and all the budget, all the costs that go with that, so we can make a really good decision. And we want to make sure that Granbury ISD and the city of Granbury, Hood County, understands how much we appreciate them and the association we've had and the opportunity we have here when we look at that facility and what we might be able to do with it in the future. With that in mind, based on the discussion we've had and based on my comments, I would like to ask if there's a motion from anyone on the board that we authorize Weatherford College administration and legal counsel to negotiate a conveyance of real property that we've been talking about in Granbury, Texas. A conveyance without development obligations, consistent with Weatherford College financial, fiscal considerations and educational requirements on that property that we've been discussing. Is there such a motion? Is there a second to that motion?
A second.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Make that unanimous. And so I really appreciate that. I appreciate the hard work that's been going on to get us to this point, and especially the fine work by the board that to try to look at all the different options that we have and how we want to try to effectively handle that. All right, so we're moving along. I'm down to agenda item number 12.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. That's unanimous too. Thank you very much.